Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With the Big Family Homestead! Yay! And the crowd goes wild. It's time to make some bread.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that there's a lot of you guys from overseas, so welcome to Babs in Scotland. We saw some Zerogim from Poland. We also saw somebody...
the Netherlands.
Netherlands,
Yep.
UK, representing. That's hood language for around here.
Is it?
There's not a lot of hood in the Northwoods where we live.
No, not at all. Unless you have one on your head.
Or there's one on your car. There's plenty of hood like that because there's deer everywhere. So people are always hunting deer. So maybe that's what they mean by in the hood.
I doubt that.
No?
No.
No.
It's an abbreviation for neighborhood.
In the hood.
Yes.
So, well, say hi to everybody, Mama.
Hi, everybody. Monica and Margaret, Debbie, Cheryl, Butterfly Enterprises, Jan, Debbie. Oh, I said Debbie. Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. How's it going? Eric, Autumn.
And everybody else.
Wizippa. She's from Amish country. Did I say that right?
Yes,
Wizippa?
I think so.
Okay.
What's up, Mike DeFazio?
So, Jan asked how much snow we're getting.
Okay. Yeah.
Lots.
We got 8 inches yesterday, and we're supposed to get about 8 inches again today.
Yes, it's been snowing pretty heavily for the last 3 hours, I
Yeah,
think.
Mama wanted me to turn the camera around to show you. You know what? Use this close cam.
All right.
I can readjust that as we go.
Okay.
Just don't go too far.
I
Here,
won't.
we're
I'll
gonna
just
turn it.
around.
Yeah, don't tug the cables.
I won't.
They can't see it. Looks like a whiteout.
Oh.
You'd have to be closer.
Okay, well.
Here, turn it. Perfect. Hold it right there. All right. Well, the long and short of it is there's a lot of snow. It's pretty fluffy snow, though.
It is very fluffy and light and airy, so Brad and I shoveled out in front of the barn last night when we were doing barn chores, and it was really easy to snow it, or shovel. It's not a heavy, wet snow. It's nice and fluffy.
Yeah,
Which I like.
and we're learning all the ways of the Wisconsinites here. This is not good snowman making snow.
Not at all.
You need a nice sweat snow for that.
A sweat snow?
Sweat
a
snow.
Wet snow. A wet
Yep.
snow.
So Eric is saying that he's been making this bread and said thank you.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
This is one of my, if I don't have any of the artisan bread brewing out in the garage, that sounds so weird. Brewing in the garage. Our garage is probably 30 degrees.
It's about 33, yeah.
It stays, cold out there, so it's not taking up room in the refrigerator. So anyway, if I don't have any of that going, then French bread is the fastest one that I can get, for a dinner.
Yeah, and it's a nice, it's a lot of flavor. You can, now, because a lot of people flip out about salt, and I get it. There's health concerns with salt.
Right.
The flavor is all about the salt. So if you got to get rid of the salt, you're just it's on you. You can cut the salt. It's
Right.
not an integral part of the recipe.
No, it is just, we like a lot of salt because we like a lot of flavor in our bread. We don't like it to taste bland.
Well, and here's a possible solution to the problem of salt. You can put whatever you want in there. You can put, thyme, rosemary. You can put in black, full, peppercorns. That'd probably be a bad idea.
Gross.
It's like you could put a few of them in there and make it like a surprise. Who got the peppercorns? I did.
Who's got the milk?
Exactly. So you're making French bread. Take us through the process, Mama, because you've already made some dough, but we're going to walk you through step by step.
Right. I am going to actually go ahead and get the oven heated up to 375 degrees because I'm going to roll some dough. Actually, yeah. And then...
But you got to put the dough together first.
I got to put the dough together, and then it's got to bake.
And then she's got a second one that's ready to go.
Have it?
I asked her about this too.
I had it planned, and then he was late getting going, and I forgot.
How was I late? We started on time.
No, but you went to the store.
Okay, this is how this works. This is Christa logic. I need you to go to the store and get this, and this, because there's going to be snow, and I don't want you to do it later.
Time out.
So I don't want you to do it later. No, my story. So I go to the store.
I know who's being.
Like she told me. And I come back, I get everything ready to go. Bam, on time. Oh, sister.
You had to go get Claire's car because it was stuck in the snow.
It wasn't stuck in the snow. It was in the parking lot.
Okay, it was. We were having blizzard-like conditions, so we didn't want her driving home, so her car was left at the store.
Anyway, what are you gonna do?
Some hot water.
Well, okay. What's the recipe? Tell them.
2.5 cups of really, really warm water between the temperatures of 105 and 110 degrees. I'm not exactly sure what that Celsius Fahrenheit conversion is. Sorry. You'll have to convert that one yourself.
Yeah, and there are converters on YouTube that'll take you all of 2 seconds to find.
Right. They have those calculators all the time on YouTube. Or not on YouTube, but on the internet. I actually have an app for my phone, because I use it all the time.
So 2.5 cups of that.
2.5 cups of really warm water.
Here, we'll just maybe switch the camera a little bit. Pointer, there you go. Perfect.
Okay. So then we need 1.5 tablespoons of sugar.
There's 1.5.
Okay.
That answers your question there, Deborah.
Yep. It's just a little bit of sugar. It just helps with the flavor of it, just a tiny bit. This recipe makes 2 big honkin' loaves of bread.
Well, and also the sugar serves a purpose outside of the flavor, in that it really gets the yeast to make lots of the bubbles,
the carbon dioxide.
The carbon dioxides. It puffs it. It's one of the reasons why it works so well so fast.
Right.
Because it puffs it up real fast.
Right. So some of you may be wondering why I'm stirring with this part of the spoon. And I have told this in the past, and if you're new today, the reason I stir with this part of the spoon when I'm making bread, I watched a YouTube video of a gentleman making bread, and that's how he stirred his bread. And it seems to really, really make it easy. It's really, it's kind of simulates the dough hook on your KitchenAid mixer. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get our yeast. We need only 1 tablespoon of yeast. And that's probably, if you're using the packets, it's probably 2 of the yeast packets.
And a comment from Deborah. She was the one asking about the sugar earlier. She says she uses erythritol. I'm guessing that's a sugar substitute.
It is a sugar substitute.
Now, I don't think that's going to help you with this bread, because you need that sugar for the yeast to eat it. I don't know if erythritol works the same way, but if it's like a derivative, then it probably is not going to behave the same way with the yeast.
I have no idea.
We don't know.
I know it's a sugar, but I don't know anything else about it. Okay. So we've got our yeast in here. We're going to let that get a little
proof,
bubbly. So
yeah,
make sure that it's proof. Make sure that it's active yeast, because if your water is too hot, it will kill the yeast. If it is too cold, it won't do anything.
And it's already going.
I got it.
It's already going.
Yeah, and we keep our yeast in a glass jar. You can keep it in a mason jar. I just had this, so I threw our yeast in there. But I keep it in the freezer.
That helps it to stay longer.
Yep. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and add 5 cups of flour. The recipe calls for 6 to 7 cups of flour, depending on the humidity in your air. 2, I better count.
3,
4, 5. Yeah, if I don't count out loud, I miscount and then I mess it up. So, and then we need, so I've just got the flour in here. I'm not going to do anything just yet. I'm going to go ahead and add the salt on top, and you need 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And I use the pink Himalayan salt. We just really like the flavor of it. It's not too salty. It's not too bland. And we're just going to stir this up till it gets nice and sticky.
Okay. Let's see. So they're saying that Splenda will work, and that's a substitute. I don't know much about those substitutes, because we've really been trying to get away from chemical stuff.
Yeah, Splenda is an artificial sweetener. And that's also called sucralose, and we don't use any kind of artificial sweetener. We use sugar. You can use honey. I don't know about stevia, if I would imagine, but I really don't have any idea.
See, that's the thing. Like, we grew stevia in Ohio, and I actually like it for my coffee and stuff like that. Instead of going for a granulated sugar, because I get the sweet flavor, the sweet taste, but it's not actually a sugar. And that's one thing with stevia that I know diabetics can have it, because even though it tastes sweet, it's not a sugar.
Right.
So I don't think it would work the same way, but once again, we don't know.
I don't know. I've not tried it.
Don't know.
So, okay, so here's where we're at here. You want to show?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this is where we're at right now. It's pretty sticky, and I'm going to go ahead and add a cup of flour.
So what are you looking for?
You want it to be a smooth dough. You don't want a sticky dough like the artisan bread. You want smooth like the Amish white bread we made last week.
And Deborah Atkins is asking, if you keep your yeast in the freezer, do you have to let it set out before you use it?
Nope.
Nope.
Not at all.
That's one of the things. You'll put it in that warm water and it just wakes right up when it hits that sugar. It says, dinner time.
Right.
I got something to eat.
All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this with kneading this with my hand. Actually, can I have a red spatula, please?
You may. There you go.
I'm going to go ahead and put this out onto a floured counter.
How much yeast? I missed it.
One tablespoon.
1 tablespoon. DJR says, can I use a KitchenAid? The answer is absolutely yes.
Yes.
We even have one. She just, for whatever reason, she likes using this for the bread.
I really do like using my hands when I'm making bread, because I know how it feels when it's done. If you're using the KitchenAid, you keep adding flour and you keep adding flour, then it can be too much flour and it'll be a really thick brick.
Yeah, so you don't want to overwork it.
Right, right. Okay, so how I knead this bread, I pick it up, I fold it over, and I press it. And I turn it. Turn it, fold it over, press it down. Yep.
And for those of you who have been watching our videos for any length of time, I know some of you get really irritated with us because I just don't put the recipes in the video description.
Nope.
And I just haven't, because I always make sure that it's in the video, and I figure if somebody wants to really make it, they can just hit pause on the video.
Yep.
And it saves me a step.
Yeah.
But I went ahead, I broke down, and I put the recipe in the video today. So it's down in the description.
Funny. So we're just, continuing to fold this over to incorporate all the flour that's on our mat here. I like to use this mat. It helps with cleanup. Well, and the wood the dough and the flour can get kind of smashed down in there. What was that?
Is that a tooth?
No. No. All right. So as you can see, it's not sticky anymore.
Fab girl, do you have any of those rolls to show us you made last week with the artisan dough? I have my buttered butter knife ready. That was last week, sister. She's making a different kind of bread.
This is a different kind of bread.
Different kind of bread, different recipe.
You can use this bread for so many different things as well. So there we go.
But you know what? The artisan bread is not really a roll bread.
No. It's
not. You could make hard rolls if you wanted hard rolls.
Right.
But it's not really designed for that.
No. Now, the best part of this bread is you let this rise in a bowl with a warm wet towel over the top of it for only 30 minutes as opposed to an hour. Sorry.
Aha, Eric. We don't even buy the $5 pizza anymore after discovering your pizza dough recipe. Eric, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And you know what? The reality is that, if you buy your cheese on sale, you're still going to get a bunch of $5 pizzas out of it, and this tastes way better.
Oh my, yes. Well, and when you make pizza from scratch, the cost, even with all of the toppings, the cost is way cheaper than the $5 pizza.
Okay, now how long are you going to let that dough sit and rise?
30 minutes.
Okay. The reason why I'm bringing that up now is because she's getting ready to bring into the camera the dough that she's already had sitting 30 minutes. So take a look at that before you throw it out there. Show them in the bowl so they can see. So it's doubled in size easily. Still a little sticky,
but that's okay.
So this is just for the constraints of time.
Yeah.
So consider that we waited that whole 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. We waited 30 whole minutes. Can you imagine? Now what we're going to do is we're not going to knock this down like a lot of doughs normally would. We're going to roll it out. So I'm going to just take flour and spread this out into a nice rectangle all over this mat here.
Okay, double satch perch. I'm making your pizza dough recipe tonight for dinner. That's awesome. As a matter of fact, we do like a little Bible reading time in the morning when we pray with the kids and stuff. And if they have a scripture memorized, they get some kind of a blessing. We figure out what it is. If they memorize a scripture, they get some kind of a blessing. Well, Claire memorized hers, and she said, I want calzones for dinner. Mm-hmm. And so we said, okay. So we're actually going to try something new. We're going to use this bread recipe for the calzones. Yep. So I don't know if it'll be too doughy. Maybe. We'll see. We'll let you know.
I'm sure it'll be delicious. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I've got this all floured out here. The whole thing is covered in flour.
Hold on 1 second. I'm seeing more than one person asking about where in the heck did you get that dough mat?
I got it at a thrift store. Honestly, I don't even know what the brand is on it. I know Pampered Chef makes one, I think. Sorry, there's no brand on it either. When I get this rolled out, I'll flip it over and I'll look.
Yeah, don't do it right now.
No.
That'd make a big mess.
Yeah, and these computers right there, I don't want to mess with it.
Okay, so the dough's going down.
All right, the dough is going down onto
like a sweet muffin.
Floured mat.
Hey, Lisa. Lisa Parks here.
Hey, Lisa. Okay. Now I'm going to sprinkle some flour on top because it's sticky. It's not too sticky, you know, it's still holding its shape. And I'm going to take my rolling pin. I'm just going to roll it out into I'm not going to knead it. I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to roll it out into a rectangle. The more you work a dough, the harder it can get. And so what happens, okay, so the reason I did this, the reason I didn't knead it before rolling it out is because I want to be able to stretch this out. And if I had kneaded it, I wouldn't be able to stretch this out nice and evenly.
So what is the goal you're looking for?
I want a big rectangle, as much of a rectangle as I can get.
I mean, you don't need sharp corners on it.
No, not at all. I just want a big, rounded rectangle shape.
Oh, Stacy says, I've looked for the mat and kind. Can't find it anywhere. We'll look on Pampered Chef. Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's like she knows the stuff that she wants to have in her kitchen. Mm-hmm. And when she finds it, you probably didn't even pay a quarter for that.
Actually, I think I paid $4 for it.
Oh, or nothing near a quarter.
No, I paid, I think it was at Goodwill when we lived in Lebanon. And that one was more of a higher priced
Well, the
place.
Goodwill, yeah. It was on the edge of the city where some of the more well-to-do folks live. And so the Goodwill prices are really unnecessarily high.
Yeah. All right. I need my dough knife.
You're looking for a dough knife?
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people having pizza tonight. Autumn is saying, I have a mat from Tupperware. There you go.
Yeah, I think they did it too.
And Debbie is adding into the mix here saying they are called pastry mats.
Yes, they're pastry mats because on the other side there is circles of different shapes where you can roll it out to pizza crust size or pie crust size, all that jazz.
And measurements.
And measurements along the side. You got centimeters and inches. Awesome.
Are there any hectometers?
I doubt it.
No hectometers. I'm out of here.
Okay, so
how can it be expected to work in these conditions without hectometers?
You're killing me.
Kill me, Smalls. All right, what are we doing?
Smalls. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we've got it rolled out, nice and rectangle shape, and I'm just gonna divide it in half down the center.
And as you're doing that, Chris Mears is quick on the Google finger and found it at Aldi, or got his on Aldi for $2.50. Got his or her, Chris, or
mat?
That's what they're saying.
Nice. That's
and Dawn said she just found it on Amazon.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. Okay. Sorry, my nose is itching. Okay, now what we're going to do, I actually...
Oh, you want back on the
yes,
close
please.
cam. Sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. Okay, so I have over here a cookie sheet, and it's actually one of the extra large cookie sheets.
You got two
These
there,
are,
actually.
I know. It's a 17.5 by 11.5. So it's one of the bigger size cookie sheets. And I've lined it with parchment paper. So I've got that over here.
What's going on there?
My
You need me
nose
to
is itching.
give you
No.
a no? Come here. Use my beard.
No, gross. Go back
I'll
here.
scratch you.
Come on now.
Every time I go to the close camera, you walk over there.
Okay.
Are you gonna go here?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
They can't see you because it's on the close camera.
How's that?
There's better.
Okay.
Speak with
So-
your hands. I
Okay.
don't know what to do with my hands. They can't see that.
I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this rounded side, the short side here, and I'm going to roll this in. Just like we roll a jelly roll or cinnamon rolls.
Or a cigar.
Okay. I don't do
We don't bake cigars, do we?
No, we don't do cigars here. So now we've got this nice long flat edge, the full length of the
dough?
the dough, the roll, the whatever it's
The
called.
soon-to-be bread.
Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this with the seam side down, and I'm going to curl on the sides like so. See?
Well, turn it so they can see the edge on the other way. The other way. Okay. Okay.
But I'm just curling this under so that it's nice and rounded. See? Oh, I got that seam.
That's what I was
Needs to
saying.
go down a little bit
That's
more.
what I was saying.
Okay, there. Is that better?
Yes. Here we go. Main camera. Oh, higher up.
See?
Booyah.
There you go. All right, now we're going to do it one more time.
Now, which camera do you want to be on? You gotta let me know. Work with me. Work with me, people.
I honestly don't want to be on camera, thanks.
Oh, boy.
Okay, go to this camera,
Let's
please.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Okay, we're going to do it again. It's kind of hard to roll this way, but as you can see, I'm just rolling it in. Turn it this way.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Yeah.
Up the French bread rolling.
Yeah.
Keep
exactly.
those dough rolling rawhide.
Gotcha.
Babs, who is in, I believe, Scotland? Would she say
So.
Scotland?
I think so. I can't remember.
She's asking if you can freeze the dough, and we do not, but many people
No.
say they can.
Okay.
We
I'm
don't.
glad. We don't. Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
All right, so that one is done.
Oh, close shot. How about, there we go.
Close shot.
So
Okay.
once again, you roll,
Mhm.
you tuck, you roll and tuck and roll. It's the move that we like to call the tuck and roll.
Okay.
A roll and
Perfect.
tuck.
Perfect.
So now what?
As I dump it. Now this has to rise for 30 minutes.
Okay, so you've made your dough,
Mhm.
you've waited 30 minutes,
Mhm.
you've made this,
Yep.
you wait another 30 minutes.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So, and you're going to cover that with a wet towel, a warm wet towel, so that it doesn't dry out and get all crunchy.
Queen bean, that's a fun name. Queen bean. I made this from your other video, and it is so good.
Oh, good.
So good.
So good.
And this one's really nice because it's a fast recipe.
Right.
So like if you're like, man, I want to have fresh bread, and you still got 2 hours, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Rawhide. Whoosh. North Star. As I watch, I can hear ice and limbs falling. Eek,
Oh,
Michigan.
no.
Well, it's snowing here like crazy too.
Yeah.
Pips and Pop. How many days will this bread last? Not even one in our house. They don't last at all. But
It lasts several days
the dough.
after it's been baked.
Oh, is that the okay? Of course,
Yes.
of course.
It lasts several days after it's been baked. It's funny. Okay, we'll eat one with dinner.
Yeah.
So I always make two, and we put one. I cut it in half and I stick it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the pantry. Well, then a day or two later, the kids will say, "Well, I want pizza for lunch."
Cut it in
Perfect.
half.
Cut it in half. You got French bread pizzas.
And she really likes those French bread pizzas.
I do.
Do you guys? Okay, here's the question. As you're gonna tidy. What are you doing?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna kill some time while we were waiting.
That's fine. Go ahead.
But I'm sure nobody out there in YouTube land has ever had the experience that I'm just getting ready to describe, where you should eat healthy, and you know that you could make something nice, but there's just those days where you're like, I want to eat garbage food and I don't even care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On those days, she gets the Stouffer's French bread pizzas.
Yes, I do.
And I try to get something really bad, like the Salisbury steak.
Oh.
Those are
the worst.
Oh no, they're so good.
Ugh.
It's like, what is that? Oh, it's not County Market. It's it used to be a restaurant. Remember?
Piccadilly.
No.
No.
No, they would have like you could get a chicken. It was in Florida. I want a quarter of a chicken. They'd be like, blam. What else do you want? Mac and cheese. Blam.
Like a cafeteria style.
Kinda.
I thought that was Piccadilly.
No.
No, Piccadilly. You just pick up your plate.
That was kind of always sketchy, Piccadilly.
Yeah, it was.
It was always like...
It was the restaurant in the mall that all the old folks came to at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And they got good deals,
but... And they got really good deals.
But it was always like the food looked like it had been crusted over for a really long time.
Gross.
So, yeah, she gets her French bread pizza, and I get Salisbury steak.
Yeah.
Okay. When we're feeling yucky.
So, let me show you something else I do with this bread.
Tiffany asks, are you using the same recipe for the calzones? If so, how would you do that? We are going to do that for this recipe.
Right. What I can do is I'll show you what I'll do, or what I'm going to do.
You just do it like you would normally, you would divide it up, right? And put it into little sections?
Yep.
Okay, well then she'll show you how to do that.
Yep.
We honestly don't know how it's going to turn out. It could be great, could not be.
It could be great, it could be disgusting.
Butterfly Enterprises has it correct. It is Boston Market. Boston Market.
That's right.
Nancy got it too.
That's
so
right.
did Pam.
That's right. I had forgotten about Boston Market. I used to work right across the street from one.
That's why we would go there.
Yeah. And there was Checkers right across the street, and if you were sick of Checkers, you'd go to Boston Market, because I worked at a Christian bookstore years ago.
Oh my gosh, Checkers has the best horrible for you fast food.
Oh man.
These seasoned fries, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Probably made me part of the man I am today.
Yep. Me too.
All right, so now you're gonna deviate from the French bread to use the French bread dough.
Yes. This dough is very versatile. It's right there.
Okay.
It's very versatile. I make a sandwich bread with it. We're gonna try calzones with it later. So, but
my concern with the calzones is that this is a soft bread. When you get it done, it's soft. It's not like crunchy.
Right.
It's soft. Mm-hmm. And so with a calzone, you might be able to get away with that a little bit, but you do want some of that crunch. So maybe we should put some water in the oven to make it crisp up a little bit like you do with the artisan bread.
We can do that when we put the calzones in there.
Sure.
We can do that. Okay, so for calzones or pizza dough, I will get my scale. Excuse me, dear. Ugh. See, you're deviating from my plan.
I didn't do it.
You did.
I did not. It was somebody there.
Oh, man.
Somebody there, and
right.
I can't remember, or else we'd call you out.
It's really okay.
Prep Setter Bob in the house.
Okay. So...
As you're doing your thing, Deborah Atkins is asking, have you ever added cheese to the bread before baking? Ooh. Absolutely.
Yes. There was one night, remember? Yeah. We had a guest over, and I needed to make bread real fast.
Hold that thought right there. Hold on, keep going.
Anyhow, so what I did was I rolled the dough out, and before cutting it and rolling it up, I smeared melted butter and garlic, and what else did I put on there? Just, chef's choice, and right here, Parmesan cheese. It made the best garlic bread ever.
Since we're experimenting.
Okay.
What do you think?
I should have done that with that one.
No, that's going to be the regular French bread.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Since we're experimenting.
Okay. I need butter.
You don't need butter for this. This will be the calzone dough.
Huh? What do you want to do?
Putting some garlic and Parmesan cheese in it. You got to think like a chubby guy.
Okay, so you want to knead it into the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so... Okay.
So here's the plan that I thought she was on board with. Since we've deviated, we're still gonna make the French bread.
Plain French bread, yeah.
But since we're gonna do the calzones and it's an experiment, we figured let's put a little garlic in there, a little Parmesan cheese, and a little extra flavoring.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay.
You down?
No, I'm standing up.
High fives. All right.
Winning. Okay, well then I can't show them how I make the sandwich bread, but that's okay.
I thought you were making calzones.
I have one more batch of dough over there, pal.
Make sandwich bread with that one. Whatever you want to do, baby. I know it's your world. I'm just living in it.
Wow.
Daggone.
That was ridiculous.
Spicy.
You are spicy.
More like
Whoa.
pickled.
Oh my.
So be clear in instruction. Are you going to make sandwich bread or are you going to make calzones?
I'll make calzones. Here's what I'll do. I'll make calzones with half of this and sandwich bread with the other half so that we can show them both.
Just let them know, baby.
Okay, so I'm going to divide this in half before I do anything. Okay? And we're going to make half of this a flavored dough and half of it a sandwich bread. So I greased a loaf pan, regular size loaf pan. And I'm going to roll this into a ball just like this. So I'm kind of kneading out the air bubbles. But this makes a really good sandwich bread. It's nice and savory and light and fluffy. So, rolled it into a ball. Then I'm going to flip it over to where the ugly side is up. And I'm going to smash it into
close cam. Hold
rectangle.
On. There we go.
You're slacking there, pal.
Move that.
So, we got it into a rectangle. And then I'm just going to roll it into a log. Similar to the way we did our French bread. But this is just a shorter, thicker roll. And I'll just place it into our bread pan and let this rise. This one will take a little bit longer to rise, about 45 minutes, because it's a little bit thicker.
Double scratch perch. Brad, you are so funny. Are you the youngest in your family?
No. He's the middle child.
I'm the middle child. The poor neglected middle child. No, it was fine.
Right, poor neglected middle child.
Right.
My foot. Okay. Now, how do we want to do this? You just want me to put it on here and mix it in?
Well,
I've never done it this way before, so here's
the thing, okay? We don't know if this bread dough is going to work for the calzones anyway. So the idea was it'll be an experiment. Because, oh, wait a minute. This is not going to work the way it should, is it?
I don't know what your plan is, pal.
Okay, I apologize for my momentary lapse of reason. Momentary. Ha!
Extended.
It ain't going to work right. Because the way we make our calzones, we actually make them all at once. Like, it would have to be tonight that we would be doing it. The way she used to do it is she'd like cut this dough into little lumps.
Yeah, I divide it out into sections. But we can flavor it and then I can do that.
You can, but you're not going to be able to show them how to make the calzone because that has to happen later.
Right.
So the point is, might as well show them something different. Any ideas?
Okay, well, this is how I take the dough, how I would do it. I would take a section of dough, okay, and I would measure it out. And I go about, depending on the person, like for Ruth, I would make a 5-ounce lump of dough. For the older kids, probably 7 ounces. And then for Brad, I would make a 8-ounce. So 8 ounces is about the highest I would go. And then, of course, if Jonathan is home for dinner, then I would make 10 ounces. But this is 6 ounces of dough. And so all I would do is I would roll this into a ball like a dinner roll. And I would put it on a greased cookie sheet and cover it with a towel so that this would rise. And that way then it would be ready to roll out. It would rest long enough so that it would be easy to roll out like we did with our French bread before.
And the way that you do it is she'll roll it out to a nice thin circle, like a good probably 16-inch, 14-inch circle.
Right.
You know what? Just show them one.
I'm going to show them one.
Show them one, even though we won't use it like this.
Right. So this is our
Let's say that this is risen
dough.
and it's ready to go.
This is risen into a ball, right? So I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to roll it out into a circle as best as I can. Of course, this is rectangle shape. This is what happens when we don't have a plan, Stan.
Don't get me started.
This is more rectangle shape.
Yeah, that's a lot. Why don't you take one of the little...
All right, I'll get it into a circle.
Doggone it. Take out your anger. Oh no, this could be like Star Wars. Take your saber. Strike me down with all of your hatred, and then your journey toward the baking side will be complete.
It's almost a circle. See?
Go, go, go,
It's
go, go,
almost
go.
a circle.
Go, go. You can do it. You can do it. Jeez. That's almost a circle.
See?
It looks like a gigantic piece of bread. A slice. No, that's good.
Okay, but see how thin it... Go back to the other one.
Okay.
See how thin it is? And this is without kneading it. And you're able to just roll it out as thin as possible. Then what you would do is you would put your calzone toppings on this part. Make a big smiley face right here. And then, let's just pretend this is our toppings. Okay? I'm just going to knead it anyway, so it's really no big deal.
That's hilarious.
So you got to go back.
There you go.
So then you take this one edge. This is our toppings here. See there?
We're having a bread calzone.
I hope everybody's enjoying this because this is quite hysterical for me. Then you take this side that doesn't have anything on it and flip it over.
Now this is actually pretty cool. Spin it so that they can see that.
I will.
Because this is one of the tricky parts of making a calzone, and Mama does a really good job at this.
Yeah, this one is it's tricky, but it's a lot of fun. So let's fold this little guy.
So you're just trying to make it look like a big gigantic taco.
Like, sure. So then what you're gonna do is it's kind of like when you're pinching the crust of your pie. So you're gonna Are you going back over there? Okay. Yeah, back down here. So you're gonna take this and press it down. Your thumb is...
And then over it.
And over it. You take it and go over your thumb. Your thumb is kind of the guide.
And you just keep going around, spin it, so they can see a little bit better. There we go.
It's kind of hard to do this backwards.
You're doing great, honey. You are gifted and special, just like everyone else.
That's awesome. Thanks,
I love you, baby.
I love you too.
That's a bread calzone. That's funny.
It's the best, man. It's the best. All right, we got too much dough over here.
Uh-oh.
Cut that off.
We were just reading about that in Galatians today.
See there? And when this bakes, and you could do an egg wash over this, it doesn't matter, but pinch this dough, this end part in as best you can so that way the seam doesn't come undone. But look how nice that looks. And then you can put a slit here for ventilation, but put this onto some parchment and put it on your pizza stone and then bake it till it's done, about 10 minutes. Oh,
yeah, that's about 12 minutes-ish, I would say.
But oh my goodness, it makes the best. And you can put whatever you want in calzones. Ricotta cheese, pepperoni, mozzarella sauce.
Cement.
Sure.
Gotta have that, gotta get those vitamins in there, the minerals.
Right. I've put broccoli in mine. I really like doing that.
We bought some today for you.
Ooh. So, yeah, you can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, Zerogame says it's a giant Polish pierogi.
Yes.
And we love pierogies.
Love pierogies. We knew of a family from Poland in Florida, and she made pierogies for us all the time. And
oh yeah. So what we could do is you could use that dough and just whip some stuff together and make like a cheese and garlic bread. You don't have to.
This one?
Whatever, sure.
Okay. I can do that. Just mutilated.
It's okay. Doesn't really matter at this point.
No. Now see, I've messed with this
Frankenbread.
dough.
It's Frankenbread.
So we're gonna go ahead and roll this out. Some more flour.
It's like it looked. Oop. Hello.
Stop. Oh my heavens.
Apple pie filling inside. That's a great idea.
Oh yeah, make
Ladybug.
a dessert calzone. There you go. Look, I just destroyed my pizza calzone, my dough calzone. Oh.
Yeah.
See how much when you overwork the bread, it's really difficult to roll out.
Now, that kind of looks like maybe you could make it into a bonnet. Look at that. Right there.
Oh my goodness.
Where's Ruth? She'll wear a bonnet.
A bonnet of dough.
A bread bonnet.
Oh my goodness. All right, I need some melted butter.
Common sense. A bread calzone would be a great April Fool's Day prank. That's funny.
Funny.
I like
I
that.
made a calzone for you. It's all bread.
Or you know what would be the... Oh, man. Now you guys got me thinking about all the potential fillings that you could mess with somebody.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like the cans of mushroom pieces?
Oh,
Just
gross.
use the entire can of mushrooms. That's all that's in it.
Nasty.
No? You
No.
You're not going for that?
I like mushrooms, but I don't care for the canned ones.
How about a fully unpeeled orange? A banana.
A raw egg.
A banana. Or a raw egg. I wonder if it would cook all the way.
Probably. We've baked raw eggs before in
We
the
happen
shell.
to have an egg right here.
Oh my goodness.
No?
No.
All right, so what's your plan, Stan?
So I'm going to soften this butter.
So she's making not French bread now. French bread is getting ready to go in there. What time? What time did you put that ready to go to?
Oh, we can put it in as soon as we get this done.
Okay.
Unless you want me to put it in now.
Yeah, do that first because then we can do this while that's cooking.
We have to dress it.
Go ahead.
Dress it.
Oh, then you got to do that.
Right. No, I can move this. It's fine. This is the luxury of the pastry mat. I can move it.
Aha! But there's heat coming up through there.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right.
Okay.
Don't freak out.
Don't worry about the fire coming out of that. Just set it right on top of there.
Yep. No, there's
Don't
no
worry.
fire coming out of there. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make an egg wash. I need these and these.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna crack our egg into a bowl.
Gotta come this way. They can't see you, baby. There you
Crack
go.
our egg into a bowl. And then we need a little bit of water.
And she keeps leaving the camera.
Sorry. I don't have a sink right in front of me.
A little bit of water is defined as what?
About a tablespoon.
They don't know what you're thinking, sweetie. They don't.
And you're gonna beat this egg.
Oh, you're gonna take out your aggressions on the egg.
To make it nice and fluffy.
Ah, but what if your subject is already fluffy?
I'm gonna put the egg on your face.
All right.
Okay. So now we're going to take this egg wash and brush it on top of our bread here. And then what this does is this makes a really nice golden color, and it helps the sesame seeds to stick.
And you don't have to put sesame
Nope.
seeds on it
You
or
don't.
not. We just like to.
We just like that.
Okay, there have been a few people that have asked
Yes.
about the recipes in the cookbook. How many of these bread recipes are in our cookbook? Because we do have some, not all.
I think I flung egg onto the computer.
That's okay.
Right there.
It's okay.
How many bread recipes? Well, let's see.
The artisan bread is for sure in there.
The Amish white bread is in here. This one is in here. Our southern style biscuits are in there.
And then is it the other kind of the lumpy biscuits too?
Yes, the lumpy biscuits are in
So
there.
there's like 5 bread recipes in there.
Oh, there's more than that, but that's what we've done.
Did you have the cinnamon rolls in there?
No.
Cinnamon rolls. Oh my gosh.
All right. Can you go back here, please?
Yep, now what are you doing?
All right, so I've got the egg wash on there, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the sesame seeds liberally.
And that egg wash really helps them to stick.
Yeah. We used to use oil, and that just didn't work out well.
Oh, Eric's helping us out. Pizza dough and cinnamon rolls. Thank you, Eric.
Oh, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to take a sharp knife, and I'm just going to score this a little bit. Just so that when it bakes, it just looks gorgeous.
But it also helps it not to tear apart.
Yeah. Okay.
This is going to go into the oven that is preheated to
375 degrees for 30 minutes.
All right, so we got some talking to do. So you can see the cinnamon rolls really freeze really well in a foil tray. All right.
Oh, awesome.
All right. All right.
Last week we had lots of cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, and Ruth was really funny because she would come around and be like, I know it's Monday, but can I have a cinnamon roll? Because we only let them usually have sweets on the weekends.
Yeah, we'll let them have, some kind of sweet treat on the weekend. Okay.
All right, so now you're switching gears. The French bread's in the oven, and you're going to make an experimental loaf.
I'm going to make the garlic bread.
Oh,
like I made the other day.
Okay.
Or a couple weeks ago.
So, but this is not going to be a cheese bread, but I mean, you can put Parmesan in it.
I put Parmesan cheese in it.
Okay. All right, so what's the plan there, Turbo? You got to tell them.
Okay, half a stick of butter because this is only one loaf. If I was using the whole recipe, I would use the whole stick of butter. And yes, I know that's a lot of butter, but trust me, you'll thank me later.
You know, one thing Paula Deen was never accused of was making healthy recipes. And that's why she was successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is softened butter. I just put it in the microwave for a few seconds. And it just helps. You can use melted butter, but I prefer the softened butter. I'm going to go grab a spoon.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to take our garlic. And, yeah, a whole tablespoon. That ought to do it.
I don't know. I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one going there.
You didn't see how much that was?
I didn't see it going there.
All right, got it. Yes, we like garlic. Sorry. Keeps the vampires away.
That is fragrant.
Yeah, it is. So I'm just going to combine this garlic with the butter. And it will just, oh, it's so yummy. And you can use garlic powder. You don't have to, or dehydrated garlic. It doesn't matter. But I love the fresh garlic. All right. So now I'm gonna spread this out on here.
There we go.
And I'm gonna have to use my hands because this is messy.
Elderberry Garden, Croatia says we call pierogi in Croatia
Vancusi.
All right.
Vancusi. All right.
There you go.
I'll spread this out as best I can.
And it doesn't really matter if it's all in one spot.
No, because that'll be a really garlicky spot.
Oh yeah. And it's going to get rolled, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You can do that. I'll do this part.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to wash my hands.
You go wash your hands, and I will liberally add on the old Parmesan cheese.
I put too much garlic.
That is not a thing. That is not even real. There's never too much garlic. So you go wash, Mama.
Yes, dear.
And yeah, pierogies. No, Parmesan cheese. And you just kind of throw it on there, however much you think is good. Maybe right there. Now this is a seasoning blend that we use. We have our Thrive Life foods, and this is so good. It's got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's some definitely peppers in there. There's some paprika, onions, and a little bit. But it's just here. Let me show you the close up of it because it's really nice and it adds a lot to just about everything we cook. The kids even use this on their eggs in the morning.
Oh, they love it on their eggs.
But you just go bam.
Done.
And this is ridiculously done.
Yeah.
You gonna roll her up?
Yep. Okay, same way that we rolled the other one. We just start at one side and just roll it up like a jelly roll. And then once we get this rolled, we'll put this on a cookie sheet.
Let it rise.
And let it rise for about a half an hour. And then again, you bake it for half an hour. So really, you could have 2 loaves of French bread done in an hour and a half. And I'm going to roll these sides in. This dough is a little bit more stiff than the first batch because we overworked it.
We were messing around.
It will still taste delicious.
We were messing around. More garlic. Yeah. The cry goes out across the land. Let them have garlic.
We got it. No more garlic. We got it. Okay. So I had to put it a little diagonal because it was a little bit longer than my pan. So I put it diagonal, and since there's only one, it's really okay. So I'll let that rest for a little bit.
Okay.
Now what?
Now, I guess, how long do we have on there? 24 minutes.
24 minutes.
That's a long time.
It sure is.
So I guess you better start river dancing.
Yeah, no.
Well, you can take that off and see if there's a name brand on there. That ought to take at least, 30 seconds. That ought to buy us. What do you think? The pastry mat? Is that what they're calling it? Pastry mat.
No.
If you paid $4 for this, you got ripped off, sister.
I thought I paid $4. It was actually only $2.
There's a $1.99 sticker right here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no name brand on here at all.
Well, other folks were saying they got them from Walmart and they weren't that cheap, like $5 or $6.
Or they weren't expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bad at all.
Okay.
Well, it seems like it's the kind of tool that you would really want to have.
It is a great tool to be handy, you know, because this makes cleanup so much easier, and you don't have, you know, dough stuck to your countertop, depending on if it's, you know, Koran or Formica or whatever it is, you know, it's not stuck to it, and it's a pain to clean off. This way, you just take it over the sink and you wash it.
Hey, there's Brad Talby.
Love it. Hey, Brad.
Talby. How you doing, man?
Long time no see.
Yes. So, okay, well then I guess Q&A time,
sure.
And we'll see what we can talk about for the next 22 minutes. 22.
This is my poor planning. Sorry.
Okay.
Here, I'll go ahead and...
Now that you have a live stream, will you get back into doing the Devos, Brad? As a matter of fact, Alicia, you will be happy to know that I've been praying about it, and we're going to give it a shot. We were going to make the announcement on Sunday night when we do our live program on Sunday night, but since you asked, the answer is yes. We're going to start trying, if the internet works and behaves. We're going to do a Monday through Friday devotion. Just a quick 30-minute, we'll read the Bible, we'll unpack it just a little bit. You know, nothing crazy. I'm not a pastor, thank heavens.
Because I am no pastor's wife.
You know, I have seen the face of darkness. And the pastors have to deal with so much stuff you guys can't even believe.
Yeah.
And so I have no desire to do that. But we're gonna jump back in and try to do the 30-minute thing.
Cool.
I haven't decided when, because too early and it's gonna encroach on barn chores outside. Mm-hmm. Or if I gotta plow the driveway so that people can get in and out for school and stuff.
Right.
But I'm thinking on it, and we haven't decided on it, but we're thinking it's gonna restart on this Monday, 9 a.m. Central.
No, it can't be 9, because that's when we do our stuff here.
Well, too late, then it's not a devotion in the morning. You know? Maybe we just have to, I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
We got to figure it out, because we do a Bible study with the kids and stuff, and, you know, we read and talk about, you know, whatever's coming up.
Right. There was a question on the truck.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Double scratch perch. What denomination are you all, Brad? Okay. I have to. This will be a 5-minute explanation, and I hope you guys bear with us, because we've been on a long journey when it comes to our Christian walk. We are Christians. We are believers. I grew up in the Lutheran church, had a get saved moment in the Baptist church. We've been to Messianic synagogues. I was in a band that traveled and played. It was a Christian rock band, and we played all over the place. We've been in Catholicism. I served at a United Methodist church, and we've been, you know, it's funny, the old Johnny Cash song, I've been everywhere, man.
Really
That's what it feels like. And so one thing that we learned real quick was that it seemed like every church had some things that were really, really great that they offered for us, you know, and everybody's different, right? And then there were other things that were like really a turnoff. And so we kept trying to find that place that was, quote, perfect,
right,
until we realized there isn't one. And so when I say we currently go to a church that calls themselves Baptist, but they're not really. They're non-denominational, but they hold mostly Baptist teachings. But I had to say all that to actually get to this point. You know what? Where we're at, as long as the foundations of biblical teaching are there, you know, the virgin birth, Jesus is God, all the Trinity, as long as those things are there, we can be buds. And we're buds with non-believers. But right. I'm saying spiritually, that's where we're at, is that I'm tired of fighting about doctrine. I'm tired of arguing whose dogma it is that, are you going to be going to heaven if you were baptized as an infant or as an adult? You know what? That's an important thing, but it's not going to get you into heaven or not.
Right.
And so I'm tired of fighting about all the baloney that's out there that everyone says, you must this and you must that. Really? Jesus is up there probably face palming, going, really? Can you kids just stop fighting for 5 minutes?
sounds like me.
What?
Talking to the kids. I'm refereeing the kids. Can you just stop fighting about the dishes, please?
So anyway, all that to say, we go to a church that is they have in name a Baptist title, but that's not. They don't stick to strictly all the Southern Baptist doctrine. And to be honest, like I said, we're at a point where I'm just done fighting about doctrine. You know, as long as the foundations of the Bible are there, fine, great. Yeah. You know.
Yep.
So that was a really long way of answering a very easy question.
That's good. It took us down 6 minutes.
Haha, 6 minutes. So yeah, we've been, you know, we've had the blessing of seeing a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I will say this though, that there's a lot of the stuff that's happening in society right now that is driving me absolutely bonkers, because the church, a lot of churches, a lot of denominations are going along with the world, and they really, really need to reconsider, because it's not where, it doesn't line up with what the Bible teaches.
Right.
So number one, Brad's not a pastor, thank God. Number two, does not want to be a pastor.
No.
Because let me tell you what, people, I've worked at a church for a long time, and the best way to describe how it is working at a church, you know, everybody likes sausage. You don't want to see how the sausage is made.
No.
Just enjoy your brat and step away from the grinder.
Exactly. It's messy. It's very messy.
Oh my. Okay. Also, one last thing about the devotion. When we figure out what it is we're going to do, we'll pick a time and we'll tell you guys on Sunday Night Live. But it's not going to be on Big Family Homestead channel. We intentionally separated them because we wanted people to feel like, you know, oh my gosh, all they ever do is they try to beat me over the head with a Bible. Well, first of all, that'll never happen with me.
Not ever.
No. But we want people to feel welcome and understand that a faith is a big part of our life, but we're not trying to force it on anybody.
Right.
I don't think that's how God operates.
No.
So the devotions will actually be on a channel called Big Family Devotions.
Yes.
YouTube.
Yep.
So, all right, Mama.
Yes.
I don't know. Are there any questions? Or they just let me roll with it? Talk, Brad, talk.
Any channels with your band? Rick, I'm not understanding your question.
No. He's probably asking, do our band, or have any of our bands had YouTube channels?
Oh, no.
No, there was one band called Scarecrow and Tin Men. There's some music videos that we did when we were on the record label doing stuff. And then there was another band called Cheer Up Charlie. I sang and played and stuff in that one. And
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
Eric, do you guys have a recipe for unleavened bread for communion?
No.
You have made it, haven't you?
No.
Isn't that like a pita?
Yeah, I can make pita. That's easy.
Does pita have yeast?
I don't know. Let me look. I think it's in the kitchen. No, wait. Do I have pitas in here?
It wouldn't be. We don't make pitas very often.
I don't. I have before. I have in the past. Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's why. Honey wheat.
But this, yeah, that's he won't let me make them.
But
this does have yeast in it. So I don't have any technically unleavened bread. So I don't make any, but there's tons of them online that you can find.
You know, there is one thing that I thought up, and I actually wrote it down. I put it in my phone, and I think that you ought to do a little, like 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 kinds of bread that were made during biblical times.
I can do that.
You know,
of course, you need sourdough for that. And Tyler Woods just sent us a sourdough starter, but he's got to call me and help me figure this out.
I talked to him last night.
Yeah, I did.
Well, unleavened bread. Maybe we're gonna have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, we can do that. That's easy. Well, no, I don't know if it's easy or not. So.
Yeah, Big Family Devotions.
Oh, thank you, Claire.
And so, yeah. So if you think you're gonna get a pastor, you're wasting your time. I'm just a guy who loves Jesus and tries really hard to not be a schmo, you know?
Yeah, well.
And sometimes we get it right and read the right things and we all move forward.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Can we get a picture of the French bread in the oven? I'm starving. Can we bring that little camera over there? You could probably...
We can try.
Can't go any further than that. That is as far as the close cam will go. I'll hold this part. Nope.
There.
Huh, you're not. Nope. And besides, you actually showed nothing.
Oh no!
No.
Here, we'll do it. See.
It's not good. Look.
No, it's too bright.
You're just letting the air out, the wind.
Ah, sorry guys. I tried.
That's funny. Brad, can you put up a link to Big Family Devotions? It's just Big Family Devotions YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And if you go there, there's a bunch of them. I couldn't believe it. We had over
70.
170. So we did it 170 days. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why we stopped is because when we moved here, the internet was so horrible.
Yeah, and we finally figured out a solution for that. Excuse me.
Well, we're hoping.
Yeah.
Have you ever made potato bread? Candy asks.
No. No, I have not. My friend Lisa has.
Lisa Park?
Yes.
She's on the chat.
She has. It's buffering. Why in the heck is it buffering?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Lisa Park has, but I have not made potato bread yet.
Yeah, it's red over there.
Yeah.
The kids are online.
No, they're not. No, they're watching the DVD.
It's choking.
Oh, stink.
Oh, boo. Isn't it funny though? You start talking about the internet, and she gets offended. The internet.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, really? You think you're gonna do something? How about this? Wham!"
Yeah. So Alma is asking if I can make a bread cookbook. I don't make enough bread to make an entire cookbook. I have a few types of recipes in my wheelhouse, and that's about it. But the recipes that I have are really versatile. Like the Amish white bread, I can make into dinner rolls, loaf bread, and cinnamon rolls. And then, what else? The artisan bread we can make into pizza crusts and bread bowls for barbecue. Not barbecue. Broccoli cheese soup.
Oh yeah.
And then, what else? Then this French bread can be sandwich bread, garlic bread, plain French bread pizzas. We're going to try calzones tonight, so hopefully that'll work. But that's pretty versatile bread.
Yeah.
It's really tasty.
Well, and Tyler Woods, he just said he got here just now. Hey, Tyler. And I see that the internet is struggling, guys. I'm kind of watching it, but there's really nothing we can do because the snow is pouring down.
Yeah, it really is.
So we're gonna try to soldier on. Hopefully we can,
another 12 minutes.
Figure out a way for it to hang on for another 12 minutes so you can see the finished bread.
Right.
Here's a question: why don't you have goats anymore?
All right. Well, that's a good question. When we moved up here, goats were great when we had our smaller piece of property, and they were a great source of milk for our daughter. But then when we moved here, it was really a challenge to be able to feed the goats and the cows in the same area. The goats would get into the hay ring and lay on the hay and poo and pee on it, and then they would stand in the feed troughs and poo and pee in it, and it was wasting our food.
And there's Zeus.
Then there was the buck, and he was
Zeus.
Smelly and gross.
No.
Okay, we don't need to elaborate. This is family friendly.
We don't have... I've been doing this forever. Zeus was disgusting.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about boy goats, that's all I have to say.
They're gross.
Gross.
So that contributed to the fact on why we got rid of our goats. Goats are a great way to get started into milking an animal because they're smaller, easier to maintain. They don't eat as much, especially if you have a smaller piece of property. They're perfect. We decided we wanted to go with more of the bovine creatures, and yes, somebody got our goat.
Bovine creatures.
But our Jersey cow has been a great milker. We've had her for a year and a half. And she's getting ready to have another calf in May. So her milk output is down. However, she's still giving us 1.5 gallons a day. And so we'll dry her off here next month and hopefully be able to get some fresh milk from a neighbor.
Well, yeah. And another thing about the goats, just if you are on the fence thinking maybe I should try to start having fresh milk, goats are a great way to get involved and
Yes.
start.
Right.
You don't need a buck.
No.
You don't need a buck.
Not. Well,
we thought we were going to grow a herd, and it just was not cut out for us. And the other thing to it is the taste. If you think I'm going to go get goats, I'm going to raise goats for milk, do yourself a favor and go get some goat milk first, because about 50% of the time people go, "Oh, I love goat's milk," or people are like, "Ah, no."
You're like that.
I happen to be one of the people that's like, no.
However, I love goat cheese. So I would make whatever Grace did not use, I would make the rest into goat cheese. And I love that. So I've got my nice little stash in the freezer here. So when I make pizza, I'm going to pull one of those out. Actually, I'm going to pull one out today.
So are you going to put some goat cheese on your pizza?
I'm going to put some goat cheese on my calzone.
Now, for those of you who may not have tasted goat milk, the way I describe it is if you've ever smelled a buck when he's nasty, when he's in his rut.
When he's in rut, yes.
That's how it tastes to me.
Yeah.
Does not taste that way to them.
Now, however, if you drink the milk fresh the next day when it's cold, or just as you get it cold, it doesn't taste that way. The longer it sits, be quiet. The longer it sits, okay, what happens is you taste it, you eat it, and it's fine. But then later on, you're burping it. Yes, okay, whatever. So,
I'm glad you like it.
I don't care for the goat's milk, though. I like the goat cheese. So it's really okay. It's great for a lot of people like it. We're just picky about the way our milk tastes.
And to be honest,
yeah.
I've grown up having cow's milk, you know?
Right.
If we were around goat milk since we were wee ones, wee little beans, it may be that you prefer that.
Right.
But, you know, if somebody says, here's a bunch of super fresh goat milk or super fresh cow milk, it's not even a contest. I'm giving the goat milk to the chickens, and I'm drinking the cow milk.
Right. Right. I have been told we did do this. If you keep your buck away from your does who are in milk, your goat's milk doesn't taste like the buck
as much.
However, we did not have that experience. We didn't even own a buck, and the goat's milk still tasted like the buck. So maybe it's the breed of goat we had. We had Sonans. I know some milk, like Nubians, their milk is a different flavor. So,
you know, okay, little funny thing about Zeus, since we still got a little bit of time to kill here before the bread comes out. He was such a baby, a big whining baby.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Mama had to trim his hooves.
Oh, he was.
You'd have thought he was dying.
Yeah, you'd thought that he was being murdered. It was.
And he was
insane.
big. He was probably
150 pounds at least. Yeah.
And Hope would ride him.
Yeah, she would. Till she got taller and bigger, she couldn't. But then Ruth and Caleb would ride him.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. So.
Zeus.
Strange goat. Strange goat.
Yeah.
He was such a baby. When we had him, when he was a baby, because he was born on our property from one of our other goats, and we went to have him dehorned, and he just cried and cried and cried.
Even when you weren't touching him.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then his horns grew back, and I will be honest, goats are a great way to get into homesteading, but cows are easier.
Do yourself a favor
and
drink the milk first.
Find somebody that you know that has goats and try it.
Well, and I understand, because like when we didn't have nearly the facilities that we have and the experience that we have, it sounds like a great idea. I'm going to get goats and I'll raise them for meat, and I will have their milk and we'll make cheese.
Right.
And then reality sets in.
Right. And, you know, and it's an inexpensive way to get into it. I mean, a cow, you know, a milking cow can be $800 to $2,000 depending on the breed of cow, you know, or your location. And then getting this animal bred is not an easy task. Up here it is, because there's dairy farmers on pretty much every corner. But I know for Zach over at American Homestead, his veterinarian would charge $500 to inseminate his cow, and there was no guarantee that it would be pregnant.
Yeah,
So,
here
that's nuts.
we give a buddy $20.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
And he's the farmer. He breeds all of his cows, so he's pretty good.
He had
at
like
it.
a locker of like bull semen. And he's like, which one do you want? What do you want?
Yeah.
Right. He's like opening up his jacket. What do you want here?
It's like that
You
guy
got
on
the
the street
Angus?
corner.
You got the Angus kind? Or,
Oh
do
my
you
gosh.
or do you want the Holstein?
So, when we told our friend here that we wanted to keep a bull here,
He's
he
like,
said, no, don't do that. It doesn't pencil out.
And it's dangerous.
It can be dangerous. He said the cost that it's going to keep feeding this animal for what it's going to do once a year is not worth it.
The hassle, and especially if you get a funky bull, and Jersey bulls are known for being mean.
Right. So we made all of our bulls at the time steers, and they will go into the freezer when they are old enough. But
KY Preacher's Wife, do the small breed goats just make good pets, not for milk? We've never had an animal like that for a pet. However, many people say they're great.
Yeah, a pet outside. Some friends of ours have. Does she have Nigerian dwarf?
She's got Nigerian dwarves.
Yeah, she has Nigerian dwarfs, and they're great. They're sweet little goats, and they're little. I mean, when they're born, they're this big. They're super tiny.
Well, and there's a guy in the chat named Tyler Woods. They raise lots of goats, and they raise like very expensive goats. And he would be one to contact if you're like, hey, I really want to know more. One time, just to give you an idea of, a situation. We had a goat give birth, and basically the baby goat, where the umbilical was attached, the guts were coming out. Okay?
Oh, sorry.
The guts were coming out, and Christa, got on the phone, talked to a vet, said, what do I do? What do I do? And she basically said, look, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to shove that stuff back up in there. I'm going to clean it out as good as you can. And then I'm going to super glue it.
Yeah.
And so she said, I can either come and do that for you, or you can do it.
Yeah. So I did it. I mean, it was a herniated umbilical. And so all of it just had not closed off. It was, the baby was coming out breech, and, it was just, you just have to not be squeamish.
Well, the point that I'm making with this part is that she couldn't be outside for a while, so we actually took some baby diapers, cut holes in them, and stuck her inside, and doggone it if that thing was not the cutest little button, jumping around, wearing a diaper.
Right.
We had to keep it clean.
Yes.
Goats in the house.
Yeah, goats in the house. It's crazy. But Tyler just says, you can, mini goats can be milked, but you need tweezers.
And a very sharp eye.
The thing was, though, a mini goat will only give you a small amount of milk. Our Sonins, she would give us 1.5 gallons at her peak. 1.5 gallons per day of milk. That was a lot of milk.
Well, and since they're little goats, you could hold it up, and I can just, right? No?
No.
Give it up, goat.
You're nuts.
I want the milk.
You're nuts.
You gotta wait.
It's a minute.
Wait.
There's
I know.
a minute.
You gotta wait.
I'm the impatient one.
Hey.
You're the impatient one.
2 Family Homestead. Hey, how's it going, guys? Just noticing. Let's see. Question. Yeah, if your goat steps on a foot, no problem. If a cow steps on your foot, you'll be feeling it for a long time.
It does hurt. I've been stepped on a few times, and it doesn't. Thankfully, our cow she's about 1,000 pounds. Of course, now she's probably heavier because she's pregnant. But
ornery.
She is so ornery. But she has stepped on my foot a few times, and it smarts. It hurts for several days. So.
That guy.
He's just throwing more snow in the driveway, honey.
They've got out here
massive plows.
They have these massive plows. They're like big, huge dump trucks with big plows on the front. Some will like robotically go bam, and then it extends it.
Yeah.
But these guys, they go flying through here. They're going like 45 miles an hour, and they just dump snow right back into the driveway I just plowed.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you could have just picked your little shovel up. Come on, man. Come on. All right, bread's done. What do we got, baby?
All right.
Here we go. Let's see. Ooh, that looks good. And the bread does too.
Did you doubt me?
I did not. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring this over here. Boom. Oop. There we go. That is a thing of power and beauty. Wow. I wish you could smell this. You know what? Do like they do on Food Network. When they describe something, they're like, this is nutty. Or
you've done it. It's nutty.
It's nutty.
I don't watch Food Network anymore.
Take a look at that though.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off of here as easily as possible without scorching my
Cools
hand.
better.
Yeah.
Like that. Looky there.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doggone it, that looks good.
Nice and crunchy on the outside. It's super soft and squishy on the inside. This bread is so yummy. It's just got great flavor and
it was fast.
And it is fast. 1 hour and 40 minutes.
If we're not jacking our jaw.
Yes, because it's going to take you about 5 minutes to mix up the dough, 5 minutes to roll it out, and then roll it up and put it on your pan. And then you've got half an hour rising time, and then another half an hour rising time, and then 30-minute baking time, and then you're done.
Oh, see, Fab 4 girl, I was going to answer your question about cinnamon rolls. I was even going to encourage the cinnamon roll creation. But now I'm kind of feeling like we just don't have the relationship we used to have.
You're right, though, Fab 4 girl. He is nutty.
No cinnamon rolls for you.
Okay, so what did she ask?
Oh, earlier she was just asking if we could put cinnamon rolls in the queue to make them.
You totally could. You mean
to make them in a future video?
Oh yeah, we totally could do that.
Yeah, but now I'm saying no. We're picking something like liverwurst pie over that. No.
No.
All right.
Do you want to taste?
I do, but it'll mess it up.
So it's bread.
Okay. Well, then what do we got? Here, show opening it. Are you just going to tear it off? What are you going to do?
No, I was going to cut it.
Okay, you're on the close cam.
Okay.
There you go.
It's hot. Ow. There's flour on me.
It's warm, honey. It just came out of a boiling oven. Hold her up to the microphone there.
Darn it, I can't. It's
Here, I'll do it.
No, it's okay.
I'll do it.
I got it. See? You can see it looks a little wet because it's still hot. If you let this completely cool, it would have a really pretty crumb on there. That's what they call it.
And show them the bottom.
Nice and crunchy.
Yep. Beautiful. And
nice
so is the bread.
Yeah, well.
All right, so here we go.
Need some butter?
Oh, you don't need it.
No, you really don't.
I love the sesame seeds too.
Yeah.
I gotta say, to me it adds a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Alan, come on over. We'll share.
It's really good.
Yummy, yummy. All right, kids.
Oh yeah.
What?
Inger says, let it cool, make cuts in it, and fill those cuts with garlic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then freeze it. I don't know what the last word is. Oh, she's probably saying butter. And then freeze it. Yeah.
Yum.
Well, I have I rolled up one of these with garlic and butter and seasoning and Parmesan cheese in it. We're gonna bake that here in a minute and hopefully not eat all of it before dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right, kids. There it is.
Yeah.
French bread, easy, delicious. You know what you got? Ingredients. You got water, yeast, salt, sugar,
flour. Yeah. 5 ingredients. But still simple, easy, and fast.
Yep. So there it is, people. Make suggestions on stuff that you would like us to bake or cook.
We're running out of ideas.
Well, once we're out of our breads, I think maybe we can start with some other things that are more. Well, one of the ideas, people were asking soup starters, like cream of soup starters, so that you can make cream of celery, cream of onion, cream of whatever you want, and then just easy things that you can throw in a jar, like meals in a jar.
Yeah.
And it's just easy, whip it up.
Yeah.
So if you have a suggestion, put it in the comments section after the video is done processing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, We'll be back next Thursday.
Next Thursday, 2 o'clock.
Be
Same
there.
bat time. 2
Same
o'clock
bat channel.
Central. So.
All righty.